We're live here at the Station of Decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by Jason Lake and Julia Tutko-Balena of Mother Grimm. It's good to have you both here.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
of course, thank you for being here. So, for people not aware yet, could you give them an idea of what Mother Grimm is about?
So, it is a surrealist, nightmare fuel, dark fantasy about a young woman held captive in her own home who must go through a journey of self-realization to discover the inner power that she didn't know existed. And I'll leave it at that.
I like that description. So, what was like the inspiration for the idea?
So a couple things. Julie, I think day one you looked at me and said, "So, like, are we doing a Gypsy Rose type thing?" And which I acquiesced partially. That was part of my I was partly inspired by that when that whole case broke, maybe 6 years ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
I just remember that you had already when we first talked, when you showed me the storyboards that you had, like the vision was already pretty much there, baked in so clearly that I just remember being swept away by it because it was part Nosferatu, part Gypsy Rose, part
whatever happened to Baby Jane.
Yeah.
Part
And there were
Carrie.
so many more.
Yeah.
Like you sent me a letterboxed list full of inspirations, and you're like, "Did you notice this? Did you notice this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was like at least like what was it, like 30 movies that you put on there on that one list of just like pieces that were inspirations for either shots in the film or moments in the film or the vibe. It's such a vibe piece.
Oh well, I mean, yeah. So I use private lists on Letterboxd, and also my saved lists on Instagram, just that are private, just for me to, I don't know, form like a lookbook for myself. It's just a way for me to fuel my creative process while staying organized, if that makes any sense.
But the fact it is so perfect because the fact that you shared it with not just me, but
I mean, you're the cinematographer. I wanted, for those who have seen the film and those who haven't, but when they do, I mean, it was right off the bat. I wanted you to understand we were going for a sort of neo-German neo-expressionistic vibe, that very much of the old school studio era style with very intricate lighting, and I wanted I wanted to give you the homework to understand what it was I was going for. But
the hard, crisp shadows, the lines, the creepy.
Yeah.
The subject matter itself is one thing, but how it was presented is another. Is like shadows within shadows. Oh man, we just got to play. It was so good.
Sure. I mean, but to answer your question, Neal, I mean, really, what brought me to this, I wanted to tell a story about abuse, specifically abuse that goes on within the home, and I thought it would be fascinating to look at that subject through the lens of the old Grimm's fairy tales. I thought that would be interesting in a Freudian sense.
Yeah, and Julie, had you ever shot in black and white before?
So, full disclosure, we shot this in color.
Okay.
It was we did a lot of visual tests. The reason being is that we needed to use current technology to replicate old school tricks, and yes, you can do that, but I mean, to replicate those tricks in camera, because it mattered to us so much that a lot of these effects are in camera. All of them are in camera, and the only coloring that happens in post is really to turn it into black and white. But because we have a digital cameras, shooting in black and white is already a complex art. I just dove deep into like filters, film grades, aspect ratios, and all the things. But like it's already complex enough, so I wanted to use the tools that I had and do my best with those, and then use the tricks that I know we could easily access to be able to replicate the exact contrast, the exact lines, so that Jason would have freedom in the editing bay. to tinker with the levels of this before changing it to black and white. So yeah, full disclosure.
Yes. Knowing that though, that you're going to be black and white, so
Yeah.
you have to film it a certain way,
Yeah.
a different way than you would if it's just going to be filmed in color and shown in color.
We did some tests to make sure that it would look good, especially the effects. But on top of that, we wanted to make sure that the lights were strong enough to be able to capture the image, the high contrast of it. We were very cognizant with every single frame as we were shooting that this is going to be black and white. Like, how many times did we say that on set, Jason? We were like, this is going to be black and white. This is going to be black and white.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, Jason, what is it about those movies, Nosferatu, Dr. Caligari, that interest you?
It's so, I don't know.
Because honestly, it's the kind of stuff I grew up with. When I was a kid, most kids don't like black and white movies, but I love black. I have my Universal Monsters all back here, and Nosferatu is one of my favorites. And I still think it's the best version of Nosferatu.
I wrote my college thesis on The Bride of Frankenstein, James Whale's film.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to say this. I don't believe there's any one right way to make a movie. I don't think there's any one right aesthetic to make a film. I wish we lived in an environment where multiple techniques were championed, but we currently live, at least as far as I've noticed in the mainstream, that is, in an era where everything seems to favor naturalistic lighting, even, something, the biggest budget, blockbusters involving, science fiction and, fantastical elements, they all seem to favor a real naturalistic approach. And personally, when I am looking for genre filmmaking, I really want something more bombastic, something more stylized. And, I'm of the age where I grew up, with the Tim Burton movies too. Mm-hmm. That was also a huge influence on me as a kid. So, why black and white? It was fitting for the concept. It was the most fitting for the concept. I mean, I'm working on a piece right now that I do not plan to shoot or go black and white in the post-production process, as it were here. But, to me, it depends on, what is most fitting for each individual project. And for me, I really wanted to honor the tradition of expressionism.
And so, once you know how you're going to film the movie and you start cast the movie, Sissy O'Hara is great as I don't know if you call her the lead, but the main villain in the movie.
Yeah.
And I've loved her in a lot of New England short films I've watched. Mrs. O'Hara, Holloway, she's awesome in. And so, how did you know her? Had you worked with her previously?
I met Sissy on Mrs. Holloway, actually. My great short made by my buddy Connor Morley. That's a shout out to Connor.
Hi, Connor.
I know Connor too, so I was actually happy to see some people I know in the movie.
Oh,
nice.
He was a good get for this, believe me. He plays a great bit of comedic air in this film. I met Sissy on that set, and to me, she's one of the most important aspects of casting this film was I wanted actors who were very expressive, as you had to cast back in the era of, the golden age up until the new Hollywood era. But she always had this quality to me that was a little bit like, I don't know, like Cloris Leachman meets Bette Davis meets Piper Laurie. She had that sort of old Hollywood quality that I wanted, and she's just a fucking hoot.
She has a lot of presence on camera.
She does, yeah.
She's great. She dives deep into when action is called and the cameras are rolling. It's just the switch flips, and she's she's in it and she's just playing. And the same thing for Izzy as well. Like both of them are just absolute professionals. They switch it on and off at will, at command, and to such a degree with such awareness, such spatial awareness. Like as a DP, it was a pleasure working with them because they hit their marks. We were at like 1 or 2 takes. Some of the shots were literally one and done, maybe one more for safety if it was like a particularly important moment to capture. But I mean, it was just a very smooth process. And we actually got extra footage in the can because of how amazing they were on set and able to like just be able to like we were I mean, as with any independent film, right, stretched for time is one of the most limited resources there because everything there is so like hard to arrange and expensive once you're there. But because they were so amazing and just professional, and it was just such a pleasure to work with both of them because, like I said, call action and boom, they know exactly where to hit that particular mark in the frame to cause that particular shape. It was just chef's kiss.
They were both awesome. And before we go into, time, I will say they both have different methods of acting. I think, what's the word I want to use? I think Izzy's more introverted in her process, much more internal in her process, where I think Sissy is the kind of actress who looks at the page and knows exactly who this character is. But they were just both a joy to work with. Honestly, I look forward to working with them both again.
Yeah, they're both great in the movie, and I think they play well off each other.
They do. Oh my God, they were like instant best friends. The two of them were just like swapping jokes, getting along. It was a lot of fun.
Back to the black and white and the shadows, and a lot of the movies of that era, the old black and white horror movies, like the old castles and stuff, really like you couldn't picture them in somewhere else. So finding like the right house that like where it would look good, like because the house looks great in the movie, and it really I think the black and white really helps there too.
That was another stroke of luck.
Yeah, that was a gift from the universe.
So I wrote the first draft of the film about, I want to say 2 years before we actually shot it. As we were getting our crew together for this project, so every other month I have a sort of a movie date with my good pal Michael Marassi. He's a wonderful photographer here in Rhode Island. And we, discuss, each other's upcoming projects. And, I was telling him I was about to go off and shoot Grimm. And I was looking for an old Victorian house because it was my dream to shoot it on, the old house in the woods on this luscious, grand Victorian estate. And, I was in the midst of, chatting with realtors in Rhode Island and also Massachusetts to see if there was anybody who owned such a property that would let us shoot there and how much, we could bargain spending for X amount of days. To which Michael said, I'll do you one better. I know a house just like that. It's right down the road. My buddy Dave owns it. So he brought me there, and it was exactly as I had written it on the page. It was one of the most surreal moments of my life.
That's awesome.
And David is more than generous, quite frankly. He was so accommodating and so, another man who I owe so much to.
Yeah, it was that house was a gift, and everybody was like really in awe of like just the freedom that we had at that location. It was really unprecedented. Like, it's hard to find that kind of.
And it came with its own antiques. We didn't have to do much set deck.
I know. Production design. He should get a production design credit.
No, really, yeah. Neal, the house is so old. All the light fixtures in this house, which is the only thing in the house that he was concerned about.
Yeah.
They were all hand designed by Thomas Edison himself.
Yeah,
so
they
we all
literally
signed waivers. Just,
probably still had his fingerprints on them.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie Hill here from Skinamarink says she can't wait to see it.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah,
Yay.
Jamie's great, friend of the
Can't
show.
wait to share with you.
Yeah, Tyler Chayman,
Hey,
who was at the screening in Buffalo, we'll talk about momentarily. What went into the shot planning were the light tricks onto Sissy's eyes for the dramatic moment.
Oh, that one actually, I remember very specifically. That one we did not do ahead of time. That was actually one that I figured out. It took me a few days to work out like how I'm going to do it, because
I added that one on you
Jason
at
and
the
I were,
last
yeah,
moment,
we were
too.
talking about like Morticia Adams, if you remember that effect.
Well, it was Morticia Adams, but I think the Bela Lugosi Dracula was the one
Yes.
that really pioneered that technique, and I think I added that on you at the last minute. I mean, I've sung Julia's praises continually, especially in Buffalo when you won the award.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah,
thank you to all of us. I think
she really is a Renaissance woman. There will be so many instances where I suggest something or say I want to do this, or can we do this, and I'm expecting the answer to be no, and she's like, oh yeah, no, yeah, we can do that, or oh yeah, I know a guy who owns that equipment, we can borrow it, or I can rent it. It's just there was never, the word no never came from her mouth, and it was
it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing film for so long. It's one of those things where you just absorb enough information, and then all of a sudden you've got this entire bag of tricks, and I show up like Mary Poppins with that expandable
literally
carpet bag, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know I think I saw something like this 15 years ago. Let me pull that out. Oh, turns out it works here too. Yay.
I mean, we mentioned earlier that it's all practical effects, a lot of in-camera effects. Part of my initial pitch to her was I don't want to do any CGI. I don't want to do.
At that point, we like high-fived and we're like, yeah, okay, let's go.
Yeah, just so. Yeah, I wanted her to understand if there was any understanding of what kind of movie this was or what vibe we were going for. It was understood in that moment, and
yeah, we were on the same page since.
I am fascinated with I mean, I've already gone over. I love the black and white aesthetic. It's one of my favorite film aesthetics, but to shoot it in black and white and also to use some of the oldest filmmaking techniques in the book, to me, it made Grimm all the more a tribute to the history of cinema. And I'm very proud that we were able to achieve what we have.
Along those lines, like, talk about cinema itself, what was it like to watch a movie in Buffalo, on the big screen with an audience? Like, because I saw a screener at home for the interview, and that looked awesome. But I imagine, seeing it how it's meant to be seen in a theater is a great experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. At first, it felt like the noose was tightening around my neck as, the opening credits.
Right. Are people going to get this?
All right.
They're going to like it?
Either they're going to love it or they're going to pull up the tomatoes, that whole bit.
You had that experience of like the roller coasters going up to the summit. And
literally.
Okay, here we go. We're on this ride and it's looking off.
Yeah.
Run you out of town with pitchforks. Like,
I didn't
old,
tell you this, Julia,
movies.
but I grabbed Amelia's hand as it started because I just needed to. It was, for it to be as well received as it was is incredible to me, but just seeing it on a big screen, it's so corny to say, but when your name comes up and the title card came up, it was whoa. Yeah
You just get awash with the vibe of the whole piece, but also like the size of it, the scale of it. And then you're sharing it with a room, like an audience full of people, packed house. It was just.
And it's, and it's all people who love movies.
Yeah.
It's not just, some random people or something.
Yeah.
And had you ever been to Buffalo?
No.
I was going to say, the old name is Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival, but have you ever, not the old name, the previous film festival name, have you ever been to that one or Amazing Fantasy Film Fest before?
Julia had. I had never been to Buffalo before. I was so excited. Honestly, it was, and city did not disappoint.
Yeah,
this
was my third time here. I'm just getting used to the lay of the land in Buffalo. I went to Amazing Fest I like to joke that I broke the screen projector and that's why they canceled the festival. But I went to the last one there, and then I've been going to Valkyrie as well.
Oh, nice.
So I
Yeah,
think
it's
I've been
Potter's
there for
Festival. Yeah.
4 times. So yeah, I think it's some total of 4 times or so far. So far, because
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love
making more friends when I get there, and I'm like, oh, I want to do a project with you.
Yeah, honestly, it's something I was talking about, Jason, before we went live. Is a big thing that I like about Buffalo Festival is that Amazing Fantasy Film Festival. It really has a good community feel because it's a lot of people that come every year, and there's
Yeah.
always something special about a festival where there's one screen because everyone's watching everything on one screen together. They're not all split up.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I really admire that about the New England, the New York film community, but as well as New England. You know, everybody is either knows each other or is aware of each other, and there's a sort of familiarity that I find really welcoming in that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's like the film family keeps expanding. You know, it's just the vibe there. Everybody really loves films. They love the process of filmmaking. Come heck or high water, they want to deliver those stories in the best way they can, and it's just the same vibe that we have, that we enjoy. Jason and I enjoy in the New England area. I mean, it's just so very well alive in Buffalo, and being able to like go there and visit and meet people you've just met, but you were already friends with because of this shared passion for filmmaking and enthusiasm for other people's work. It's not just your stuff that you're being all narcissistic and showing, look what I made. It's more about like, wow, look what you made. And it's just this whole, just this nerd fest of film. I just love it so much. And so, I mean, I just, same vibe. I love the Buffalo film family over there, and I really do like enjoy visiting and being part of that. So I just can't
I
wait
do have to mention, because Greg told me beforehand that that submissions are up now for next year. So anyone listening or yourselves, you can get some feature films or short films, whatever, submit them. And not just as I'm friends with Greg, but Greg is great at the festivals because he's a filmmaker himself for decades. And so he has experience. And I always think he's one of the best at the Q&As because he asks questions that I don't think everyone thinks of asking at a film festival. It's not just like, oh, you know, how did you do this or whatever. It's coming from someone who has decades of experience in filmmaking.
Certainly a great host too.
True.
And you can get a lot of good advice from Greg.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love going over there, and I love the Q&As that he hosts because, like you said, like he has the internal, because he's been doing it for so long by himself. Like he's been walking the walk for so long. He knows little things that filmmakers experience, that once you're in the trenches of like actually making a thing from scratch, then he thinks of things that like just don't come up in a regular like situation. And it's like he has that insider knowledge, and it's fun to tap into it. And I love that he holds space for all the filmmakers to like really connect with the audiences. And his Q&As are just as awesome as watching the films play.
Yeah, I honestly think I've been to a lot of festivals. I think his are the best Q&As, are up there anyway.
Certainly.
Awesome. Yeah.
And he'll be on next week too for Frenzy Moon. Him and the cast of Frenzy Moon. So
sweet. Yeah, give him a rest. I mean, he needs a break. He needs to sleep. Literally, what is it? Tuesday? Yeah, Sunday was the last day of the festival for him. So it's crazy. I think he's going to need a lot of sleep.
Yeah, and we've kind of covered this, but what are, like, in your opinion, not only just the importance of playing a festival, but attending them? And I think you've covered that pretty well.
But I think it's incredibly useful, if not incredibly important, if you want to have a career, even just as an indie filmmaker. This is a dog eat dog industry, and you will get ahead based off of the bonds you forge with your brothers and sisters. So I can't imagine not throwing yourself into that world and expecting to get anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a corny answer, but it's just innately how I feel.
I like to encourage people to go, especially new filmmakers. I meet a lot of filmmakers to the point where I started a newsletter and started a YouTube channel to try to get the word out there. Going to film festivals is one of the best ways to expand your network, but also expand your worldview in terms of like how just generally art, if you are one who likes to do art and never want to make a film in your life, you should still go to film festivals because they'll show you something cool that you haven't maybe necessarily thought of. But philosophy aside, if you're a new filmmaker and you want to explore that network, explore your setting, and really get to know your environment and see what full access of resources, people, and ideas and businesses that are out there doing this, you have to go to film festivals. It's the best way to see other people's work, see other people's vibes, connect with other people. And even if you're an introvert and shy, that's like the first step, putting yourself in that pool, dipping your toe in the pool, and really getting to know the atmosphere and the network is just such a fast track for making your next work.
That's how I got involved in filmmaking. Because sorry to interrupt you, Jason. I just I was going to festivals as press, and then you meet people who like you, because I would hang out with everybody afterwards, and everyone hangs out. Which is another thing. No one's like big timing anybody, the filmmaker. Everyone's, because everyone's just there with they all love movies, especially weird movies. And so I made, a short film with my friends Michael and Sophia, and then from there we made feature films together. So I very important, I think.
Yeah. Studying any craft is vital to furthering it, but also networking and forming relationships with people who also share the passion for your craft is, I would argue, it's just as vital to growing in your field as
100%.
And what's your YouTube channel, Julie? Because I found that interesting.
A Friendly Filmmaker. I do small tutorials, and sometimes I do a few interviews, mostly with like filmmakers who have made a thing. I think I've interviewed one or two actors, and then of course, like in the indie sphere, that there are a lot of people that wear many hats, so you get the combinations of filmmaker, writer, director, and all the things.
Editor.
Gee, I wonder who else I could think of. I don't know, but I just decided, hey, I want to be able to like put something on tape for people just starting out to like be able to get one more tool out there. And if I help somebody along the way, then hooray. Because I love doing it, and I love sharing the craft of like how I solved XYZ problems. So I have how-to videos and I have interview videos with people who've solved different problems to me, and I thought it was interesting. So yeah, we're just getting rolling. We have a newsletter as well that I started so that I would stop chewing my husband's ear off every week. My poor husband, he's like, honey, I love you, but too much filmmaking. And I was like, okay, got it. What's my next outlet? Cool. I'll just write it down. And then I wrote it down, and I was like, hey, this is kind of categorized like a newsletter. Maybe I should start one of those. So I did.
Nice. Virtual, I assume, people can sign up for it online.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just free. And I especially for the actors, it's come in really handy. Actors and crew locally, finding paid work locally is kind of tough. And some people who want to like graduate to like being able to pay their bills, but still do this, even if it's a side hustle and it doesn't cover everything, you still want to be able to be in touch with like the community and what's happening.
You don't want to go into debt on that.
Right. I mean, there are some folks that are like struggling to like do their art, and on top of that, like you want to be able to kind of get access to some paid work. So if I hear about that, I'll put those in my notes, like even if a big production rolls through town, but even if like there's an indie production that's got a really good like foundation from an experienced filmmaker who's like got all their ducks in a row and has their contracts all set up and it's not going to fall through, something dependable, so that people know that when they open up my newsletter, if they see a gig in there, it's by a vetted source and it's by somebody who's going to like be at the film shoot on XYZ when they promise, and cover the costs of gas and staying and all the things, and be able to like do a nice project that you're going to be proud of. And so the casting and the crew gigs are in there, and also networking events. So local news also. So like, that's what I just kind of sum up in my newsletter, and I put that out every week for free. So
Oh, cool. Well, I'm in New England too, if you guys didn't know. So I'm going to sign up for your newsletter. So
Yay!
yeah, and I'm just throwing. You don't have to answer here. I know it's kind of putting in the spot, but me and the people who do Without Your Head, we're talking about expanding the show to more of a network, and I was looking for some things that are a little different than we do, and maybe that would fit in if you'd be interested. But we can talk
Sweet,
about
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. We'll talk. I love it.
that.
We'll talk.
So when I was watching Mother Grimm, I really liked the movie just because you guys, not just because you guys are here, but as
Thank you.
soon as some animation popped up, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know who did this because I'm friends with him. And so I went to IMDb quick, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Jeremy Arruda. And so I was really happy to see his stuff. Not only do I think he's amazing, I think it's like a perfect fit for Mother Grimm.
Yeah. Jeremy, was suggested to me by, again, either by Connor or our mutual friend James Church. He's another filmmaker from Rhode Island, and he was my assistant editor on this project. I had seen Jeremy's work before and thought, oh yeah, we have the same, we share very similar interests clearly, but we had never met. So I reached out to him. God, I can't believe it's literally just about a year ago, and he responded kindly. He's. I don't want to say that we were talking about this before we went live. To call Jeremy's work unique is an understatement. I feel. I mean, nobody's really doing animation in that technique, in that style right now, be it independent or even in the mainstream. It's, I am so proud to have had him on this project as a collaborator and to have gotten to know him. Every Q&A, every screening we've had, every Q&A, one of the most frequently asked questions is, how do I see more of this guy's work? And I'm always happy to pass his socials along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely got a very, very clear, distinct voice in not just what he draws, but also like how he animates the frames through it. And it's an animation technique that you're not going to see often. But it's so crisp and so clear, and the contrast of how it moves fits in with the contrast of how the rest of the piece is lit and shown and presented. And
Yeah,
it's
a
just
really
couldn't
perfect
be
fit,
more
honestly, where I think
right.
it could be like a weird contrast for maybe something else. It would still be cool or whatever, but I think it fit perfectly with Mother Grimm.
Yeah, for real. It's so unified with the whole voice of this entire film. So couldn't ask for more. It was great.
Well, for that sequence, I originally had planned to shoot it live action, but you had suggested I look into doing it animated to save some of the budget. And
yeah, some of the budget, and not only that, but like
to do that at first.
I remember.
But as I think I called you while I was in the car, and you said, "Oh no, this could be playing really well with the storybook theme." And as I was mulling it over in my head begrudgingly, I instantly thought of Arruda. But oh, well, that's a lead I could follow.
Right. Because like budget wise was one thing, but also it just happens to be a really good idea to
it was the right fit. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head when you said it fits into the storybook theme. I think it would have been a loss to have missed out on his segment without that added element. And it's another filmmaking technique that we threw in there for good measure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Has he seen the finished film?
Oh yes.
Oh good.
Yes.
So we might mention Buffalo, amazing fantasy film festival. Where is Mother Grimm going to go from there?
So a couple places. All along New England and New York. I want to right now stay on the Northeast coast before venturing out nationwide.
It's also the easiest to travel to if you want
Well,
to
yeah,
travel. Yeah.
I do like to go to the festivals that my work is showing at, just because I want to be there to present my film, but also be a face in the crowd for people to interact with.
Yeah, it's always so helpful to have the filmmakers there. Like I've gone to tons of festivals, and sometimes it's such a breath of fresh air when the filmmaker shows up to be there at their own Q&A and to be there and mingling with people and not just like post and ghost, you know what I mean? Which sometimes
or someone who literally shows up for their own movie and then they're not watching anything else.
Yeah, they just peace out. They're like, yeah, good, I showed my thing and I'm out. Bye.
Sometimes at festivals you may sit through a film that you otherwise wouldn't have paid to have seen, but it's just common courtesy to, we stay and we applaud through each of the showcases,
We love films, though. That's right.
Exactly.
You get to know the people that are there, and that's another thing is expanding your network. Like even if you are an introvert and it's hard for you to like connect with other people, just being in the room,
you're in the right room,
and staying. Well, yeah, kind of. I think Janine Garofalo has a great joke. She says, "Oh, if you want a fantastic career in comedy, definitely bump into Ben Stiller at a coffee shop," because that's how she got her start, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it's just a joke she likes to say is like sometimes it's right place, right time. She's being very tongue in cheek about it, but that's the idea is that even if you're like an F you, like every the world sucks, but I'm here for my movie, but I'm also here for other things because I like film, but I don't know how to express that. Like not everybody has the right words to connect their feelings in the moment to like being in the vibe. But even if you're that person where it's a little socially anxiety inducing to like put yourself out there like that, try it anyway, because by dint of there, you're going to get that extrovert that comes up to you and like gives you an opening to like talk more about what you did and then engage with the things that are new to you. So you really do get to meet a whole broad spectrum of personality types at festivals and sharing your work there and being enthusiastic, and people can suss it out too. I mean, I think that being genuine, being you, no matter what that you looks like if you're a cool person, it's going to shine through like no matter what. And so just going there and being the nerd with the rest of the nerds, you're in.
Yeah, literally.
No
I mean, if anything else, at the very least, you'll find somebody else who's into the same niche as you.
Yeah.
You'll make a friend.
Oh yeah, especially at the Horror Block. Are you kidding?
Oh yeah, no.
All of us. I think there was a table of like 30 people at the local bar afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great night.
Did you have beef on whack? That's what Greg always says. He's like,
no,
buffalo wings are like that's passe, but well, next time you go, you have to get beef on whack. That's like that is the best food in Buffalo. I have to say.
I'm embarrassed to admit I didn't get to have real buffalo wings. I should be shot dead.
Honestly, I'll be honest. The buffalo wings are pretty much buffalo wings anywhere. But
I figured. But I did get to try poutine for the first time.
There you go.
So
There you go. See, I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to see everything all at one go.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to get all.
It encourages us to come back.
Yeah. The next time,
exactly.
Though, beef on whack. Beef on whack. Yes.
Beef on whack.
Yeah. I'll put it on the list.
All right. It'll say, if I explain it, this sounds like a roast beef sandwich, but trust me, it's very good.
No, I've heard of that before. I've heard it's good. Yeah.
So one thing I want to ask too is the runtime. Has anyone given you a hard time about, because it's like that area, it's like 36 minutes. So
yeah, long form.
Has anyone said like, why didn't you add, a half hour, make it a feature? So the runtime, if you would like to talk about that.
So there was brief discussion at one point where do we turn this into a feature? Like, no, you can always tell when something was stretched into a feature when it wasn't the.
Yeah, my personal thought is something should just be as long as it needs to be.
Exactly.
And we were on the same page on that. Like we determined, we talked about it, but then we quickly dismissed it as like, tell the story you want to tell exactly how you want to tell it. And trust me, like if it lands, nobody will be checking their clock. They'll be watching the screen too busy to look at their time.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I personally believe that there's no such thing as long movies. There's just movies that, you know, feel complete, and if you
Yeah,
know if
I'd
it's
seen
doing your
plenty of
job,
3-hour
entertaining the
movies
job
that.
asking you,
Yeah,
you won't even notice the time.
yeah, agreed. I've seen
Paced
plenty
right,
of
you
3-hour
won't.
movies that, for me, just fly by. I don't care. And I've
Yeah,
seen hour-and-a-half movies where I'm like, what is this? How is this ever going to
yeah.
end? So,
Right.
It's all
Yep.
about pacing,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah, pacing, storytelling. You could tell the ones that are padded for time just to meet some
Yeah.
sort of arbitrary line in the sand drawn by a studio head that has no creativity.
Yeah.
And and
that's
it's
the
always
most
like,
boring movies for me. Getting screeners or something for the show is like,
Oh yeah.
just it might technically be well made, but it's just like so like run of the mill. A typically haunted house movie, like they're trying to make the next Conjuring or something, but it's just
Yeah.
there's nothing exciting about it.
right.
And
Yeah.
if something might be not technically well made, but it's fun or they're trying to say something, I'll look over some of
Yeah.
the flaws in it.
Oh yeah. I tend to give more slack towards indie and micro budget filmmakers
Yeah.
than I do, say, something from one of the majors.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
I love horror, and it's it's one of my favorite genres. But one of the reasons why the genre is so ubiquitous is because it's the one genre that doesn't require film stars to sell a horror film. The horror audience will show up to see whatever you got for them. And as such, I know that a lot of filmmakers, especially even ones that don't particularly care for the genre, will use it as a backdoor into the industry. And you can always tell when there's genuine passion for the
Yes.
genre and
I
when
agree.
there's not.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had to sit through a couple of those, but
Oh yeah, I've even have not too many, but every once in a while we have a guest on that will say like they don't like horror movies, but they'll just outright admit like they know that like that's what sells, and it's always like disappointing. And in my mind, I'm like,
oh, they'll actually say that on the show.
yeah. In my mind, I'm thinking like you probably should just lie and say you love horror
Yeah, but
movies, but I guess it's nice you're being honest. But
social Darwinism doesn't exist inside everyone, apparently. Know your audience. That's all I say.
yeah. So Greg is here. I'm not. This was about 10 minutes ago, but he did say
Hey.
several of the actresses from Buffalo. Julia regularly collaborates with from people.
Right.
Oh,
Man, the first time I went to Valkyrie is when I met the Lambersons, and it's just that feeling of finding another home out there was like instantaneous. And Tamar and Kaylin are awesome, so hi to them.
Yeah.
And hi Greg. And yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, I love the whole, like, through them I met even more really, really cool people, and it's just instant friendships there. And I think Amelia and I went there, and then we've been roommates ever since. Like, we just got even closer on the set of Mother Grimm. I mean, it's just awesome, and more to come. We're making more stuff. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I have not been to Valkyrie yet, but I was telling Tamar that I really want to go. I mean, I think, well, Neal, you might feel differently on this. I've often felt that female filmmakers are, I don't want to say are more suited towards genre filmmaking, because that's you don't have to put a gender on it, but I feel that often female authorial voices have something more interesting to say. I mean, I look at genre as a tool to really dive into some of whatever big and difficult issues are going on within our zeitgeist, and I think women have, say that women have a harder road, especially in the film industry, is redundant. But
I think independent film was like ahead of the curve there, like because I would see more female filmmakers
without a
at
doubt.
festivals. And
Well,
and I don't even necessarily think it's more or less, but they've everyone has their own perspective, so it's
No, of
it's a
course.
different point of view.
And just to put it before the industry woke up, very in the very beginning, you had Lois Weber, you had
Yeah.
female
Ida
filmmakers
Lupino.
in positions of power making their movies independently, because that's how it started, right? And then over time, the patriarchal voices came and muted them out and didn't give them jobs and defunded their production houses and poached stars from them to work on their other movies, even if they didn't have as good work. And it over time became a very patriarchally dominated field. But women were there at the inception of film. And it's sad that history forgot most of their names, but that was by design. It was literally like that was very deliberate that we don't remember all of their names, but we were there. And what Valkyrie and other festivals like Lois Weber Festival here, they give that voice back to women that was shut down and still is shut down in mainstream Hollywood, with 4% of women directors, and not one of them is nominated, or maybe one out of every.
Even when Barbie comes out, it's like a movie about that, and then
or Patty
only
or Wonder Woman before that. I'm like, I'm sorry, a multi-billion-dollar is not enough for you. Like,
I mean,
what else do we have to do?
As they say in Mad Men, that's what the money's for. No, it's. I saw a great documentary. I'm blanking on the name now, about that era, and while the Hollywood is just in its infancy, and there was a thriving period of time for Black filmmakers, for women filmmakers. If anybody watching knows which documentary this is, please comment.
Leave a comment, please. Share your first class.
Anyway, Valkyrie, great opportunity for women filmmakers, great opportunity for women who want to work in genre, and it's lovely to see a space like that carved out.
Yeah, and I would encourage. I've heard this said, where there are some men who want to hold space and leave it alone. Don't do that.
That's
just come out.
Yeah.
You're invited. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see feeling that way. Yeah. So I'm glad you say that, though, because I could see, especially if you like if you're not going with another female director or a friend of yours, I could see how you could be like, oh, maybe I'm not wanted, or not even not wanted, but maybe I just feel uncomfortable there.
Right. They get this in their head that by dint of the label Women's Film Festival, that it's exclusionary, when it's quite the opposite. It's more about like trying to expose what we also have done that hasn't been included in other spaces. And so if anything, it's a more inclusive place, because it's like, come over and take a look at what we've done. We literally set this up so that we would have a place to show our work, because some of it is very deliberately being excluded in other places. And then you'll find those stories and experiences, and it's such a wide gamut. To Jason's earlier point, it's like there are some stories that literally only women think of because we've gone through the journeys of, for example, pregnancy and birth, like that man has experienced firsthand, right? It's through my eyes that you will see this journey. Very cool. And then you'll get the other filmmakers who are more like, I just want to do the same thing, but my film had a female name on it and didn't get into this festival, versus a guy who did a worse job and he got into that festival. And it's but now here you go. That happened to me once. I mean, I don't want to be all bitter jitter, but that did literally happen to me once. Long story, doesn't matter, happens. And then you'll get, you get those auteurs who are like, this is the genre that I'm working in, and my female anatomy has nothing to do with this project, but I did a good job and I want to show that to you. You know what I mean? So you will find that entire rainbow of experiences. If you just go, the more you attend, the better.
Yeah, horror movies themselves, like you can watch a movie that's just ridiculous. I don't know, a basket case or something. But then you could watch something that's more thought provoking. Is one better than the other? Whatever. That's your personal opinion.
Right.
But
art is
whoever makes
it. Yes, exactly that. Exactly. And so, so just because you see women's filmmaker doesn't mean you're excluded. In fact, in other words, it's the opposite. It's you're invited. So come over and check out Valkyrie and check out Lois Weber and all of them too.
Right. I've not heard Lois Weber film festival.
That's a relatively new one. It got started. Let me get the names right. Gabrielle Rawson and her co-conspirator in crime, Katie Killory, who are very engaged with the film scene here out in Boston. They just started. This is the 3rd year running. I think actually we're about to have an October meeting to punt off the next year's. It's going to be year 4. I think submissions are already open for, similar as Valkyrie, female-led projects. And they do a lot of highlighting. In fact, last year's festival had a documentary in it about female filmmakers who were forgotten by time, and another kind of presentation about who Lois Weber was. So it's really cool, like, to touch base with that history, but also like the breadth of films that were picked were just really gorgeous, like really beautiful, thoughtful, meaningful films. It was great. It was a really nice experience. So yeah, Lois Weber.
I'll look into this. I have not actually heard of the festival before, and I'm in Massachusetts. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm not too far from you guys. I'm on the Cape. So.
Oh, cool. We'll go hang out in Falmouth at one point.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Falmouth half the week anyway, so I mean, yeah.
All right.
Sounds good. What about your neck of the woods?
On the beach.
So where can people follow you guys to see, where Mother Grimm goes and what you guys are working on next? Separately, I assume.
Yeah.
So on Facebook, just Jason Lake is my handle, Lake. Instagram, you can follow at Mother Grimm Official for the film's updates and, behind the scenes pics and stills and trailers, things like that. But also updates on, where the film will go next. Or you can just, one moment.
Is that a dog or something in the back?
Yeah.
Okay. That's totally fine. I normally do a show. My brother's on the Live Thursday show, and he's got 3 dogs and 2 cats and a tortoise, but the tortoise usually doesn't walk into me.
It's slow going for the tortoise.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cute. No. Also, there's my main Insta. It's just at Queerdo J. And then Julia, you have.
Yeah, I mean, all roads lead to Rome. So friendlyfilmmaker.com. You can sign up for the newsletter there, where I will be posting updates about Mother Grimm. I posted about Greg's Festival in there when it was happening. Like, I do a local news segment at the top, and then I get into the gigs and the community news and the community fundraisers and stuff. And again, free newsletter. It's pretty baller. And then I just launched a paid community as well, if you want to connect to people here and not be subject to algorithms or data scraping or anything else. So I launched that as well. And I'll be opening that up to public. But for now, you just contact me through the website, and that's it. I just post very rarely on other social media platforms because I'm building it out on the website primarily.
All right. Sounds good. Very exciting. And I found out beforehand, I don't know if you were there, Julia, but I was at Dead of Winter, and Jason was there as well, but
yep.
We didn't know each other at the time.
So. She had a short playing there, Fortune Teller?
I did. I had Fortune Teller played there, and I also hosted the panel for the Slay Queen, which was
nice. Yeah, I hosted the Toxic Avenger panel.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. So we were like literally back to back. That's so funny that we didn't get to meet.
Yeah. We're probably backstage at different times. And
we were both prepping our materials like right over in that overlap period. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. All right.
Yeah, that's fun.
Well, it was great meeting both of you. And thanks, Greg, for helping set this up.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. And thanks, Greg, for the intro.
A pleasure. And hope to come back again soon. Yeah,
as I say, you guys are welcome back anytime. And anything you want something plugged or whatever, just let me know.
Thank you. All right. Thanks.
And I'm sure we'll run into each other at something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Falmouth or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we know each other, we're going to see each other in Falmouth and like making a film out in the Cape, and then showing it.
I live in Sandwich, if you know where that is. Not to dox myself, but everyone
Sandwich.
knows.
Yeah.
Very small town.
Yeah, I do.
You guys probably know what it is. Sometimes I say, and people think I'm making it up, but it's an actual.
No, I don't. Yeah. And they have an East Sandwich too, don't they? I don't know.
Well, it's all part of Sandwich, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That Mashpee area,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys. Thanks.
Take care, guys.
I'll send this to you after. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
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 Hi, this is Adrienne Barbeau. Just call me Billy. Everyone does. And you're listening to withoutyourhead.com.